of Somalia. This is Warship 112. We will be escorting you to your next port of call. Thank you for your cooperation. This is Warship 112, standing by at channel 16. Out.
The U.S. Navy refusing to let up on their blockade of Iranian ports, and President Trump says his strategy is working.
And I'm not sure it needs to be extended. Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago.
And it's not the only move towards peace in the Middle East. Israel and Lebanon have now agreed to begin a 10-day ceasefire after mediation by the U.S. State Department. Here now is retired four-star General, Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane, also the chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, do you think the ceasefire works for Israel?
The ceasefire in Lebanon, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, well, listen, let's unpack this a little bit. The Lebanese and the Israeli government wanted to talk. The challenge we have here, Lebanon has no control over Hezbollah whatsoever. They tried to kick out the Iranian ambassador a month ago because he was interfering diplomatically inside the politics of Lebanon. And Iran said no, defiantly. And guess where that ambassador is? He's still in Lebanon. They have no control here. And what Israel wanted to do and was doing is finish the destruction of Hezbollah as much as they can, much more than what they did back in 24. The ceasefire halts them. Who wanted the ceasefire? Iran wanted the ceasefire. Government in Lebanon wanted the ceasefire. And based on that, President Trump certainly asked the Israelis to go to that ceasefire. The fact is they would have preferred to continue the destruction of it, which would be in Lebanon's interest, in my view, because they cannot disarm Hezbollah. They cannot even begin to control Hezbollah. So our audience to understand, Hezbollah are all Lebanese citizens operating under the orders of another country, Iran, and their residence is inside of Lebanon. And they can fire at will on Israel because they're right there on the border. They fired over 6,000 rockets at Israel in the last couple of weeks. That is staggering, and Israel once and for all wants to clean that up. So now we're at a ceasefire here. And the good news is that as part of that agreement, Israeli ground forces stay in Lebanon, in the southern part of Lebanon, where they were proceeding to destroy the rest of Hezbollah.
Right.
So our audience also understands there was a ceasefire in November of 24. And as a result of the Hezbollah trying to reconstruct themselves despite the ceasefire, Israel has conducted, under the guise of the ceasefire, over 1,000 airstrikes into southern Lebanon during that ceasefire because of what Hezbollah was doing.
Yep.
So this is a ceasefire. We got it in name. We'll see what actually happens as a result of it. Listen, certainly Lebanon talking to Israel is a good thing. But understand the realities of here.
I do.
Lebanon doesn't have much of any control over Hezbollah, and certainly none in terms of influence in Iran.
Talking about control, the blockade's been a stroke of brilliance ever since it went into play 10 a.m. on Monday morning Eastern time. U.S. Navy has stopped about 14 ships from passing Iranian past blockade. They have turned around Chinese ships. They turned around Iranian ships through the Strait. So they've actually trumped the shutdown, the Iranian shutdown of the Strait. How much power and leverage does President Trump have right now?
It's considerable. He has doubled down on the Iranians who took control of the Straits, and as a result of that, they were able to stop the war. But since that time, this is what has happened. And so our audience clearly understands the entire economic viability of Iran being able to go forward and actually this regime exist as a nation state is now in our hands. We have control over their destiny for sure. 90% of all of their oil goes right through there. That's the reality of what has taken place here. They're completely dependent on that economy. That economy will absolutely collapse if this continues, this blockade continues. So I think these are less about negotiations in my mind. I know why we want to use that term, but it's more about putting our terms on the table and you take it or leave it.
Absolutely.
And that is the attitude we should have in dealing with these people. There's no face saving here. We're asking them to surrender everything that we want without signing a surrender document. That's the face saving aspect of this. They give us everything that we want, and we've listed all of those. And we should not extend the ceasefire deadline. That gives us the muscle to get them right now in the next few days to admit that they're going to give us everything that we need to do to put this to an end once and for all. And if they don't do that, then the blockade continues, and we rearm and we get back into combat operations. That's what's hanging over their head. They're playing for the fact that the political and economic pressure on the United States is significant, and we want to end this, and our desire to end this now, they want to kick the can down the road in terms of extending the ceasefire so they can get better terms later on. Right. That's who they are. Right. We know that. And even when they agree to terms, Brian, we got to recognize these guys are liars and cheats, and we've got to stay on top of them. So we don't unfreeze any assets and give it to them. We don't go through sanction relief. We don't do any of that until way down the road, and they prove to us that they're actually serious about behavior change. Got it. They're not recovering ballistic missiles. They're not supporting proxies anymore. They're giving us all of the nuclear, highly enriched uranium. There is going to be no capability for them to ever establish any degree of enriched uranium in their country. They're not going to have the capability to do that. All of those things that we're after here have got to be on the table, and they've got to give it to us. Right. And I think it's less about negotiations. It's more about you agree to our terms. Yeah, I hear you, General. He's got all the cards, and he should play them all and get everything he wants before he hops on that plane for an 18-hour journey. General Jack Keane, thanks so much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.